Freedom and the work of Byron Katie. Here you go. This could liberate your mind to a place you've never imagined before. So here I am at the Statue of Freedom here above Chania in Crete. That statue marks the actions of Spiros Kaialis, who was a young Cretan who hoisted the flag when there was a bombardment happening, and it basically was a momentous kind of occasion when the Allied powers intervened and stopped the Turks doing atrocities here in Crete, and eventually basically that was part of the war of freedom of the Cretans, and they became independent, and then a few years later they merged with Greece, which was a long held dream of the locals here. And so it's beautiful. It's a nice, this freedom of self-determination, of independence, something that I learned about at school. One of the only things that I thought was useful in history was about self-determination, and having the choice, giving people the choice to choose their own destiny. And I'm totally all about that. Right, I was going to show you like this beautiful view here, but there's a crowd of people, but people are everything. So I guess the universe right now is saying, look, people. But it's a beautiful view over Chania. Actually, let's go in. Let's just go crazy here and go in. There's some kind of Polish tour going on, but I just want to show you the view there. Isn't that beautiful? So nice. So nice vantage point here, nice perspective for some blue sky thinking and some spacious thinking. And so let's get down to the meat of this video, all about the work of Byron Katie. So Byron Katie is a teacher whose work I've been integrating for many years, and I also use it with my clients. And we do the work when there are very strong thoughts that cause suffering and limiting beliefs that cause suffering. And this is one of the things that I do that's just incredibly powerful and penetrating. And so just working with a client yesterday with this, and wow, like it just always just fills me with so much pleasure and fulfillment to see someone's whole reality shift when they do the work and they examine with a forensic knife their own thoughts and see that what they held to be true that was causing them suffering isn't actually true. And there is immense liberation and space and expansion and ultimately freedom in that. And so I thought this would be an apropos moment to share about that. So the work of Byron Katie is basically 4 very liberating questions. The first question is it true? So you take your thought which causes you suffering, causes you pain, causes you to feel bad, less than amazing at any given time in your life, and you question it, you get curious about it, you ask, is it true? Is this true? And the answer will either be a yes, it is true, Jody. I cannot do it, or I'm not enough, or whatever it is. Or maybe there's a glimpse of realization where it's like, oh yeah, actually this isn't true. I was just really attached to this belief system, and maybe that came from my parents or my upbringing in some way. And that's great, because then it's already done. It's already done. And if it's no, this is true, this thought that causes me suffering is true, then the next question is, how can I know that it's true? How can you know that it's true? And so then again we go deeper and we go questioning, okay, how can I know that this is true actually? It's this thing that I held so deeply as true all my life, or all my decade that I've been suffering like this. Or all this week I've been suffering like this, right? My partner left me and it's awful and I'll never be happy again. could be, for example. It's definitely happened to me. Very probably the most crushing kind of thought and feeling that I've experienced. And so got some rowdy poles making a bit of noise, but hopefully still we can concentrate on the point of this video. So then the third question would be, okay, so the how can I know it's true is like a secondary part of the first question. And then the second big question is, or it might be the third, hey, I'm not perfect, is how do I feel when I think this thought? How do I feel when I think this thought? So you take this thought that you've been thinking that's been causing you suffering, that's been causing you to be limited or feel limited or think you're limited, and just, okay, how do I feel? Like, what goes on in my nervous system? How do my emotions, my senses? Oh, this happens. I feel like this. I feel constricted. I feel whatever it is, right? Okay, yeah, so that is question number 3, yes. Okay, and then the final question. Jodie, I thought you were an expert on this. I never said I was an expert. Please don't. The theatre of the mind. Well, if you want a video about that, I made that one yesterday about or the day before, I can't remember now. It's so many videos being made these days. It's become a factory. But about the inner critic. You want to listen to that video, watch that video for more of that kind of theatre. And also the one about being a cynic as well. Which, I believe most of us are, to some extent, have cynical energy around within us, which is based on that factor which I share in the video. You must watch the video, go deep, don't be a dabbler, go deep with things. It's worth it, you're worth it. So after that third question, which is how do I feel when I think this thought, the fourth and final question is, who would I be without this thought? Or who would you be without this thought? Who would you be without this thought? That's the final question. And that's a real opportunity to deep dive and penetrate reality as you construct it in every new 3D printing moment. And really ask, yes, who would I be without this story? Without this thought that I'm not enough, that I need her love, his love, that I'm too much, I can't do it, or whatever thought, story, pattern is coming up for you. So just give yourself that moment, a pause to ask that deeply and honestly with yourself. Who would I be without that thought? Okay, so these have been fundamentally the most liberating questions I've ever asked myself, apart from who am I? And that's worth a video in itself, a video I need to make, and I shall make. Freedom. Would you like more freedom in your life? Inner freedom. Because Byron Katie's the work, those 4 questions, has certainly brought me and many people I know much inner freedom, inner spaciousness, awakening, realization. Now it also might bring you outer freedom as well. It's certainly brought me outer freedom. Outer freedom because I've questioned all my assumptions about reality, about my worth, how I can make money, what I can do, what I can't do, how I can show up in the world, how I want to show up in the world, what kind of impact I want to have in the world, what I want to share with the world, and so many more questions that have been keys. Now, if you want to do more of that kind of work, specifically about your offering in the world, if you're a healer, a light worker, or a coach, or a consultant, or some kind of leader, artist, creator, and you have gifts to share, you have medicine to pour out, then my Freedom Key program might be something that interests you. So you can learn more about that by putting freedom in the comments, and I'll link you with that. And inner freedom, outer freedom, ultimately you could say they're very different, but you could also say they're one and the same thing. If this is a hologram, as many of the great mystics taught us, this 3D realm is illusory, as the latest kind of advances in physics, quantum physics, certainly appears to show, then perhaps it's all one thing. Perhaps this is a game that you get to play, you get to learn in the school of life. Perhaps you do get to choose. Do you choose? What do you choose? Do you choose to love yourself? Take care of yourself? Honor yourself? Respect yourself? Do you choose freedom? And what might freedom look like to you? It's a very interesting thought. And if you want to go really deep, then I invite you to work one-on-one with me. If you want to go really, really deep, apply the work, these 4 questions. Really dig deep down into the treasures of who you are, the workings of your mind, to get you real clarity, moving towards your ultimate path of potential, activating your purpose, being courageous, leading, being a light for others, excelling in who you really are, unapologetically. Because in my world, there's no room to be someone else other than you are. Everyone else is taken. Everybody else is taken. It's you that we're interested in. The true you, the vulnerable you, the authentic you. That you that has your unique vision in the world, your unique experience. That excites me. Just like you might be excited or thrilled or intrigued by me being myself unapologetically in these videos, in how I write, in how I show up, everything. I wrote a book about a comedy show I did 5 years ago at the biggest comedy and arts festival in the world, and theatre festival. I'm proud of that little accomplishment, and I'll link you in the comments, in the description as well, to check that out. And that was me just experimenting and playing and choosing to show up in a different way, in a playful way, and finding that edge of what is terrifying and what is ultimately exhilarating, joyful, expansive. So, definitely meditate. Definitely, maybe, courageously ask those questions if you have limiting thoughts, ideas that cause you suffering. Definitely love yourself and watch. And if you're interested in, anything else I have to offer, then there's a link in the description to book a call. I would love to hear your comments, your feedback, insights, anything else, downloads that come through. So please comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notification bell. All right, love you so much. Take care. Remember, you are infinite. Check it out for yourself.